Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Comes in threes. This is the third time lucky. We're good.
Third time lucky. Yeah.
And then we'll do
All right.
the. I'll record the time. We'll record timeless moments as an offline anyway, because I'll do that. We can do that as a separate Zencaster if you want.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So we're talking about we finished up the summary of all the criminals and all the
Yeah.
areas they were. The fact that
So, interestingly, it said approximately $50,000 worth of collectible cards has been recovered. And so that could be an underestimation by the police and the media, or it could be an overestimation by hobby shops reporting what was missing.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's always that temptation to overreport on your insurance claims, isn't there? So I think that's going to be an interesting one to sort of like, I suppose it goes to proof of burden, doesn't it? Let's not dwell on
Yeah.
that too long, though.
It's it's certainly well, it's good that we caught the criminals, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Geez, they had a decent stash of other stuff though.
Yeah, that's right. They
Run their own chop shop. What are they going to do? Trim cards with power tools?
interesting to diversify out their criminal profile out so much, though, isn't it? Between
That's true.
drugs, stolen weapons, and Pokemon cards. It's
I'm
a bit of a
surprised they
weird
didn't
one.
have any fake patch manufacturing stuff.
Um,
But on the
this is the part I did want to talk to you about. The police believe they have arrested the leaders of the criminal syndicate. We are confident that we've apprehended the main offenders who are sharing their criminal tradecraft with lesser offenders. And that
okay,
makes sense a little bit. It's kind of like, the leaders at the front and they've got all their little smurfs at the bottom. Police have also identified the lesser offenders supplying stolen goods and, more importantly, the Middle Eastern organized crime syndicates tasking the apprehended offenders. So if I'm putting on my criminal conspiracy hat right now and making outrageous headlines, you could say the proceeds of stolen Pokemon cards are now funding Middle Eastern terrorism. I think this is the first time we've made our show political.
oh my goodness.
It's only
I
taken us 190 episodes.
I'd like to hope that's not happening. Oh god, I the fact that they've apprehended that what they hope is the leader, because there have been other break-ins. Is that correct?
Mm.
That was the next story. That was the
Yeah,
bad
so
news to go couple with the good news.
basically, and then almost immediately afterwards,
Yeah, more.
this was posted to the Traders Australia, which is the shop that they've broken into. Sorry, everyone, will be closed on Friday as we've been broken into early this morning. Police investigators doing their thing. We have lots of camera footage. We've also recorded serial numbers of all the graded cards stolen. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers. Da, 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 da. And they've got a lovely picture of the guy up there. But his face seems to be pretty well covered. I was actually hoping for a better picture on there of like
Yeah,
the picture of the guy. But yeah, it's the same MO, isn't it? They're coming in, just
bang crash.
smash and grab stuff.
It's pretty
There's
unfortunate.
nothing really updated in the comments about whether they've been caught or not in that post. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, look, hopefully this is the end of it and it's not going to keep on happening because it's definitely putting people on edge. And
It's just it's not a it doesn't leave a nice taste in the mouth. I
nah,
guess you just
not
don't
at all.
want Anthony Milne just put in the chat, Kaboom's take a new meaning. Oh yeah, I hope they shut this stuff down soon, and I hope the stores aren't being targeted.
Yeah.
And we can sort of move on from it. It's quite scary to have our small hobby impacted by criminal
Mm.
activities and the such.
Yeah, one thing that was said in the notes by the police is that actually the community has responded collectively quite well,
Yep.
helping each other out with identifying who it is, supplying information to each other, which is very much like a hobby thing. Like there's dedicated scammers pages within the hobby to support each other.
Yeah,
So it's
where
actually that's a sort of interesting little tidbit on that, isn't it?
it's
All right,
positive, right? It's mega positive how much we come together as a community when things go wrong.
final thoughts out on this, and then we'll move on.
My final thought is I hope this is the last we sort of touch on it. As far as I hope there are no more break-ins.
Yeah,
I hope
of course.
we've heard the end of it.
Alrighty, now we are going to completely go from bad news story to good news story. We are
Of
going to talk
course.
about our YouTube channel. So we have been running a promotion. Once we get to 150 subscribers, we're going to give away a box. We have run the randomization for that. If you'd like to watch the video on that, it is on our YouTube channel.
It's
We are
there.
currently at 159 subscribers. I think that's right at
168 actually.
168. Even better, delicious.
Yeah.
Our winner is Pretz, PRETZ X. Pretz X is our winner. So congratulations to Pretz X. Please DM us on Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is your favorite, your choice of that, and we'll organize to get that box shipped out to you ASAP.
Congrats. That's awesome. I mean, we
Huge congratulations.
set our views on the next goal, the next giveaway.
Yeah, so I think that's the next thing we'll do in the next couple of weeks, isn't it? Organize our next little giveaway.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who did jump into that. Probably just like one really quick note on that is you need to change your privacy settings on your
Yeah.
YouTube account so we can see who it is, because unfortunately there was only like 50 people in the random. There wasn't the full.
yeah, if it's an anonymous subscription, then we can't give you a box of
Very,
cards.
very
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
do apologize for that. However, if you were in that group of people who had their settings not quite right, just quickly Google how to change that up. We did put something on socials, how to do that. They were desktop instructions. And don't worry, we'll run another
There'll be
promotion
plenty
very
of
soon,
giveaways.
which you'll be included into that future promotion once you get your
That's
settings
it.
correct. So, yeah.
Correct.
Alrighty, this is a little bit of news from a couple of weeks ago now, but it's something I definitely wanted to talk about. This is more than a couple of weeks ago now. ESPN is reporting that Sabrina Ionescu is joining the unrivaled 3-on-3 league. I think this is really exciting from the perspective of basketball. From my perspective, two different
Yeah.
angles. One is just the sort of the general health of basketball, that there's another sort of small league coming up
Yeah.
to give us entertainment, because I think there is a little bit of a opinion or a push is that actually the way that people like to play basketball, particularly on the street, is that you
Yeah.
play 3-on-3. You don't play a full 5-on-5 game.
This is just a shortage of people.
Shortage of people, you don't have to run around as much. You sort of, your steps are a little bit more limited playing
Yeah,
3-on-3.
for sure.
And as you get older, that's really important. And so, yeah, and I think from the women's point of view, and this is what I really like about this too, it kind of is a fairer format that you would play women versus men. So I like that a lot,
Fair.
and where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
could actually have the chance to excel and and play really well in terms
Yeah.
of like their shooting and passing and movement, all that type of stuff. So for
Mm.
me, this is super cool.
It's
I'd love
great.
to see Caitlin Clark in the middle of this. I think it's great that Sabrina's there, but at the same time,
Get them all on board. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like really, really pump up the sport. Yep,
yeah.
definitely.
I think there's a little bit of talk locally that the NBL will be having some input into this too. I've got no idea, who will be inputting into that, but still, that's a super cool piece of
Yeah,
information.
no, that's awesome.
I think the perfect time now is to talk about Caitlin Clark. There is more and more Caitlin Clark cards popping off at the moment. Prism has obviously just been released
Mm-hmm.
for WNBA. The pricing on that is higher again than NBA, so there is a huge amount of interest in this product.
Yep.
One card that I have got to talk to you about, this is on Instagram at Market Movers app. The first PSA 10 sale of Caitlin Clark's Kaboom. This is, sorry, Color Blast. This is her college Color Blast too. It's sold for $2,500. Sorry, I lied to you. It sold for $4,250, which is 2.5K higher than what a raw card sold for. So, we're talking about
Wow.
we're
Okay.
talking about popularity. We're trying to discuss here about women integrating into the sport, all that type of stuff.
Yep.
It is like, it's a really big deal. Another card here in terms of WNBA cards here, we got Caitlin Clark again, the 101 Black Finite PSA 10. This is from Select. It's that one that runs East West. It's a sticker autograph, albeit it's PSA 10 one of one. It's sold for $36,000 USD. Like, that is, that's a huge card. I think if we're speculating on this in terms of how we comping this to Prism, I think
Yeah.
we can probably do this next week or the week after once a few more comps come out. The one of
Yeah.
one gold vinyl of Caitlin Clark at a Prism has been hit. So I suspect that's going to be sold within the next 1 or 2 weeks. It'll probably go to PSA first and then hit the market straight away. But
Yeah.
if that's selling for 36,000, what's her Prism 101 got to be selling for? What, 70,000, 50,000, somewhere in that ballpark?
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's so good to see that this kind of these numbers coming out for WNBA cards.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Alrighty, what else should we discuss next, Ad? What have we got here?
Well,
We've got an Allen Iverson card. Why don't we talk a little bit of AI?
let's do that, and then we'll take a break. And shall we go into the now we're in the second half of the season, maybe some award races.
Sure.
We'll do that.
All right.
Cool. What's the Iverson card we've got?
So this is actually from Sports Cards and Nonsense. So huge shout out to the lads at Sports Cards and Nonsense. You are the kings of sports card
the OGs,
podcasting.
the
Huge
kings.
respect. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 1997 Skybox EX from 2001. Now this is PSA 5. This sold for $700,000. Adam Gray has been doing a few posts on these sort of on and off over the years, talking about the importance of EXs. I don't think it's until you see sales like that that you then realize the importance of them. We talk about kabooms, we talk about case hits, and in this sort of modern era where there's case hits itself for a couple of dollars in the instance of the glitter cards that are coming out of Don Russ Optic. When you see a card like this that PSA 5 selling for that huge dollars, it's an absolute eye opener, isn't it?
It's crazy. I'm trying to understand
Yep.
which card it is because this is a numbered one, isn't it?
It's the essential cred, if that's what is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look at the back of that image just to see if the card was actually
Oh
numbered.
yeah, the image is so
It looks like it's numbered to 3, but
maybe that's what it is, man. Too.
yeah, because I'm like, hang on, what? Because it's the credential side of it.
Yeah, you're right. It only has 3 copies.
There are only 3 copies.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, anyway, I've got a Kobe, and I didn't pay anywhere near that amount of money for it, but it's definitely not numbered.
Good pickup, mate. I'm glad that you pointed that out. That was that is actually an important piece of information. Yeah.
Numbered to 8. Anthony Milne said in the chat. This one is.
There might be one number to 8, but in this particular one, it's definitely numbered to 3. And that
that's 3. The Kobe there might be a Kobe numbered to 8. That'd be dope. Anyway. Be crazy good.
A few more people making the comments here. So this is from Jamie Castaneda. They were numbered by the number in the set. So credentials now is numbered to 3. His credentials numbered to 80, or just the opposite of the run. So, and another comment in here basically saying this is a group of collectors who's trying to buy up as many of these as they can. So it's like a small group of collectors basically bidding up against each other to pick these up. Look, I don't have a problem with that at all. I think if that's what you want to collect and you see the rarity in it, obviously all powers to you. But if that's what the Iverson's selling for, what's the Duncan going to go for? What's the Kobe going to go for? That would be.
Yeah, I can imagine the Kobe going for big money as well, for sure.
Alrighty, break time, Ed.
All right, last break of the show, even though it feels like we've had a few today.
Thank you to our sponsors at ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. Thank you to Ross and Michael for all of your support. If you go to their website, you can check out a whole range of products for sale, sports breaks, check out My Cards Australia, singles categories, collectible protection, hobby boxes, sports memorabilia, and toys. Now, I think the one thing that we should talk about, and we should continue pushing this forward because it's something that Ross is absolutely passionate about, it's Check Out My Cards Australia. It's basically a consignment service where you submit your cards to Ross. Ross will list them onto the website. They're cross-posted across all these different platforms, eBay, a whole range of other ones too. He would then sell your cards on for you at the end of the month, send you out whatever money has come back into that. So very easy for you just to submit cards to Ross. He'll take care of all of the back end. We've all got boxes and boxes of cards sitting there just needing to be sold. This is the perfect way to unload some of your cards, get some cash back into your pocket, and continue on with your collecting journey. Thank you so much to team ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready for the final
The home straight?
the home stretch. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But we got plenty to talk about. We're in the second half of the season. Things that we're in the next couple of months, we're going to get down to the business end of things.
Yeah. So why don't we do a little bit of speculating here? Why don't you tell me your pick for the most valuable player? And then we can talk a little bit of card value on that. What have you got for me?
All right. So I'm hoping,
Yep.
knowing you, that
Hmm.
you're seeing the shiny lights and the shiny new hotness. So
Yep.
I'm going to take the old school. I'm going to go with the old faithful. Nikola Jokic is winning
Okay,
his
sure.
fourth MVP.
Okay. All right.
So I have a
So
feeling you'll go with SGA.
no, that's fine. So why don't we do Jokic first, and then we can go into SGA because I actually think both are very worthy candidates. And if
Agreed.
either wins it,
Completely agree.
yeah, if either wins it, I'm going to be totally fine with it. And I actually think it's going to be a really close vote this year, just for the fact that how well Jokic's playing, but
God,
how good
can I
Shea
go
is playing.
conspiracy? Can I go
Yeah,
conspiracy
go.
theory?
Absolutely, I love a
SGA
good
doesn't get
conspiracy.
the MVP. Jokic gets it, and as a token of apology or whatever the league wants to do, they gift him Defensive Player of the Year.
Gift Shea,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a way of saying sorry, but Jokic is a freak of nature.
yeah, no, absolutely. So I think where we should probably look at this is if you want to talk about Jokic, we have to then zoom out and look at the bigger picture because there's not that many players who have got 4 MVPs. We got
Yeah.
LeBron with 4,
Yep.
and then above that you've got Jordan with 5,
Mhm.
Kareem with 6,
Mhm.
Wilt with 4, and Bill Russell with 5. Like that's it. It's an insanely short list.
That's like yeah, I think this guy is something we've never seen before.
Mm.
Nikola Jokic.
And actually, I want to do a timeless moments on this exact subject. So, what is the impact, big picture, for someone that does win an MVP 4 times? And because we're at that point now where it's like you can actually have that conversation, and it's not
Mm,
outrageous to
mm.
discuss this in sort of that context. So, yeah, look, let's talk a bit about pricing because his pricing at the moment is just insane. So, for a silver PSA 10, the population on this is 180. So if we're making comparisons to another big man at the moment, we've got Wemby with a population of 4,000 plus. So there is a significantly less number of cards here. It last sold for 3,200. And if you're zooming in for this the last 2 weeks, sorry, let's go to the last 3 months. It is up 14% just then. So in terms of looking at that on the all-time scale, it looks like quite a sharp uptick there.
Yeah.
Um, Interestingly, it's actually been higher than this at different points,
Mhm.
even in the last 12 months. So it's actually on a little bit of a down. Now it's ticking, right back up again. The all-time high of this was 6,000, and then it's sort of traded around that 3,000 to the sort of 2,700 mark, and it's definitely upticking back up again at 3,200.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at that pattern, as much as I want to get one of these into my collection, it doesn't make me all filled with warm and fuzzies to buy it. Like he is really up and down. I feel like he sort of goes up to that sort of 3,500 mark, and then he sort of trickles back down again. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not super compelled right now to go out and drop money into this guy, particularly
Yeah.
on a silver.
Yeah, that's fair. Agreed.
I think the one that I'm most interested in, honestly, is the Ruby. I really see a lot of value in this. And the reason I say that is because it's numbered to 350. The population on the 10 is 69, and the price on that is 2,400 currently. The sale
Oh.
before that was 2,700. So let's just say we split the middle, and it's 2,005,
Yeah.
2,550, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I think when you direct comp that to the silver, I find it really difficult to pay more money for a card that's unnumbered, if that makes sense.
No, I completely agree. I
Yeah,
think that's a great call.
yeah.
Um,
But I really think we're at that point in time though where we can actually look at this and say, okay, can we comp this to LeBron James? Can we comp it to Jordan? can we comp it to Kareem, Wilt, and Bill Russell and sort of plot out those 6 cards and then say, where does Jokic fit into that, graph there? Because, there's just not that range of people that it's a very, very short sentence of people when
Yeah.
we're, reading it all out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the only thing missing from Jokic's resume is some championships. Because you really
Yeah.
should have a couple in the bag by now.
Yeah. That's the difference between these guys, isn't it? You've got obviously LeBron with enough
Like,
championships.
yeah.
You've got Jordan, who is the modern leader in NBA championships. You've got Kareem, that was obviously, very successful in his career.
Yeah.
Wilt won one championship, and then how many did Russell get? Like 13 or something?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, he's the most winning player in sports. But he, yeah, you're right. He's there stuck with Wilt with one.
So my pick for MVP though is actually Shea, and the reason I say that is because the more I watch the Thunder play basketball, and I'll admit I've definitely been watching a bit more Thunder lately, is the more I actually think that this is now the modern NBA, where you just put 5 players out on the court. There's no real rhyme or reason in terms of height and weight, which is something I feel like we really emphasized, particularly in the 90s, where it was like a shooting guard is 6'6", a small forward is 6'8", your power forward is 6'10", your center is 7 foot tall. Like the Thunder aren't like that at all. And the other thing that, I think if you're using the Thunder as a role model for other teams and how that basketball should be played, like just say you said this is the blueprint for basketball, their defensive rotations are very unique. I think there's not that many teams that play the way that they do defensively.
Yeah.
I think they're really well organized, but also their flexibility and their way that they can switch. I don't think I can teach basketball well enough to actually comprehend all of their defensive schemes, but I feel like I've got enough there to be like, yes, I can really see like what they're trying to do here. The way that they hedge, the way that they use their positional like versatility to actually cover people. Like, it really is, exceptional. And I think I hate to keep going back to that Andrew Bogut thing where he was like, every team in the league plays the same. All they do is shoot 3-pointers. It's like, have you watched the Thunder play basketball? Like, they are absolutely not settling for 3 points. Yeah,
No.
like it's a big part of their offense and they use it to spread the court, but they also play off each other in such a clever way. And then defensively, like they're so clever the way that they play and the way that they use their defense to fuel their offense. Like it's just they play such a good brand of basketball. I think the way I feel about the Thunder is the way I felt about the Warriors in their prime.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest compliment I can give to someone. I genuinely enjoy watching them play basketball. And the person that leads that charge is absolutely SGA. Like, there's no question to me on this. I think the one that I dropped the most is obviously Jalen Williams. Like, I just didn't see that coming, his development at all.
Yeah.
The card I want to talk about is actually the one that we spoke about on the undervalued list last week. It's the fast break bronze to 20. We didn't really talk about this at all. We just mentioned it. We just said, here is a card. The thing that we actually didn't mention, and we didn't deep dive into this at all, so this explains it a lot. So this last sold in 2019. There hasn't been another sale of this card in basically 5 years.
Yeah.
It sold for $70, number to 20. So whoever bought that, all I can say to you is congratulations. You've absolutely broken the system on Card Ladder in terms of undervalued cards because of that. If you go to PSA 10, though, one has sold more recently than that. It was last sold in 2022, and a PSA 10 sold for $1,600. So I probably suspect the person who bought that for $70 sent it off for grading at PSA. That would make sense. If that sold for 2 years ago for that much, that has to at least 3x by now.
At least
3x, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no.
So just really quickly going to the silver PSA 10, he is just absolutely skyrocketing at the moment. So if you go to the last month, he's up 24% in just 1 month. If you go to 6 months, he's up 43%. If you go to a year, it's 48% up. This is just an upward asset at the moment. Last sold for $930.
Yeah.
Population
the sale
on this
before
is 6.
that, it was sold for $1,100. Like it was, like it's.
It's just going up like a bullet, yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose, all the speculation on this is just that he's going to win MVP, isn't it? I can't really think, too much more than that. Look, for me, the silvers, this is a really tough purchase at the moment because I think what I'm going to steal from you a little bit here is the future pricing model that you talk about.
Yeah.
I think that's very much baked into this card. I think that if anything, card is just going to go down. And if he doesn't win MVP, you might see this card go down a lot to that sort of 700, 750 mark. Because
Mm.
probably in my head, that's the true value of it. Card Ladder actually values this at 934, so it's got no problem with the value on this at all.
Mm.
Yeah, look, as excited as I am about this card, I'm also very much like tread easily with it because we were talking about this card in the 500, the 600 mark, and we were saying the same thing. So I just feel like I can't really step away from that. I
Yeah.
think where you have to look for value with SGA is just at other cards. Look for patch autographs from his rookie year. Look at
Yeah.
numbered cards. Look at raw cards that you can potentially send a PSA.
Mm. Mm.
Because that's also the problem for me with silvers is that the population on this is 681, but you don't know what the final destination on this population is going to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
Yeah.
true. And you're right. The future pricing model that I do refer to quite frequently is what's the point of trying to pick up something like if you're buying for an asset to increase,
Yeah.
and the price spike's already happened, you're not going to get that.
Mm.
Like the point of buying it's gone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that we buy cards just to watch them appreciate, but if you pay with the future appreciation already added, what's the point?
Yeah, that's right.
It's it's a very dangerous way to buy cards, I think. Like
Buying at the top, 100%.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I mean, and worst case scenario, he doesn't make the NBA finals this year. They don't win a chip. He doesn't get MVP. The Thunder all of a sudden make a bad decision. They blow it up. SGA becomes what? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not like disaster prepping, but you've paid
No, look,
these overs in the lead up.
I think if you look at sort of big picture on this guy, I think he's still pretty safe.
Of
I think
course, but
he's not
yeah,
particularly injury prone. He's still pretty young. The team is very young around him. I think what the real issue is it's just the price where you're currently buying in at, as opposed to buying into him as a prospect. So yeah.
agreed.
Most improved player. Who have you got for most improved?
LeBron James. He is the most improved 40-year-old. I've yeah.
So categorically, I can tell you he's not even listed on the odds. So we've got Norman Powell, Cade Cunningham, Tyler Hero, Christian Braun, Evan Mobley. I don't pick any of those top five at all. I think
Cade's my number
Evan
one.
Mobley is fantastic, and I think it's great that we're giving him some props. For me, Tyler Hero is not the most improved player, just for the fact that he's already had all this talent there. And same as Cade Cunningham, this guy's the number one overall pick. Like, I don't think it's fair to say someone's
Fair,
injured.
but
It's good to give them some respect. Like, the Pistons have been a good news story this year, but for me, that's nothing. Norman Powell, I like. But I think if we're being realistic, how is Jalen Williams, Jalen spelt EN, not IN, the good Jalen Williams on the Thunder, how is he not listed for most improved? Like, that's some nonsense. So he's down all the way down here at $67. So that's below Evan Mobley, Eamon Thompson, and then Jalen Williams. Dyson Daniels is below him. Like, the ones that I'm interested in are actually all the way down the bottom. Jalen Williams, Dyson Daniels, Max Christie gets a mention there at $91. Like, I don't know. Look, Norman Powell, that makes sense. That's fine. We can give that guy some props, but
yeah,
I think we talk about Jalen Williams. Population on this is 626. Last sold for 153. Look, the more that I watch the Thunder, and I think I was talking about this guy, I wasn't that, I was a little bit unsure. Is this a good buy? Is it not? I'm actually thinking now this is a really good buy. This kid is talented. I still think he's got more in the bank there. And the funny thing is about Chet is, in my head, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure Chet's going to be their number two. I'm actually not too sure about that anymore. I think Jalen Williams is going to be that number two. He's just really skilled. And the funny thing about Chet is I actually think he's going to be a bit of a tweener. He's too big to play three. He's like a little bit clumsy to play the three, but he's not big enough to play the four. And I think he's going to get his ass kicked against fives.
probably.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, good point.
And while I love him, I think he's a good player and he's fun. He's got a good personality, all that stuff.
You just
I
don't.
just think Jalen Williams fits into the league really well at the moment, just the way the league is going and the way the
Yeah.
Thunder play too. So,
Yep.
look, I could be wrong about that. I've been wrong about heaps of stuff lately, but you know,
I don't know. It's interesting to speculate on though, for sure.
yeah. Who have you got for most improved, man?
I had Cade. I think
Okay.
I think Cade deserves the flowers there. But
Yeah.
you've got a point with him being an overall number one. But he hadn't been playing like a number one pick, so he's improved to the standard that is expected of him. And I do think Norman Powell's a good.
Can I push back on that though? Like, how much bad Pistons did you watch?
I just looked at the box scores more than anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, and I kind of feel like the people who make these awards are probably about the same thing. Like, if we're being honest, right? It's like the Los Angeles thing. It's like if you just watch
But we did
ESPN and
touch on
Sports
Cade
Center.
earlier in the season, and I was saying that this is that breakout year spike. You're right, because
Yeah.
last year we weren't talking about Ant being
But no one
the
wanted
most
like the
improved,
Pistons.
right?
Like the Pistons were terrible last year. Like people weren't watching them. It's like okay, now they're good and they're really good this year. Like they're a tough out this year. If you don't turn up to
They're
play, the
currently
Pistons are going to eat you.
Yep, they're currently what, sixth in the East?
And they will hurt you. Like they are tough and they run at you and they have got good
They will
motors
run
and
with
they
you all day. That's the thing.
yeah
They've
yeah and
got
they
the
keep
youth.
going and they're strong underneath and Cade is a strong lead guard. Like they've got a lot of good things going for them. But I think my point is like actually how much improvement has Cade made, or is it just that now we're paying attention to Cade? I think that's probably my counter argument to all of this.
Yeah.
Really quickly, Cade Cunningham pop 322. Last sold for 375. He's up. If you look at his graph, he's just going
up.
all the way up. Yep. So the last 3 months
Cade's
he's
going
up
to the moon.
41%. The last 1 month he's up 15%. The last year he's up 101%. So he's basically doubled in the last 12 months. Yeah, really good buy if you got him down at the bottom there. So
Yeah. Some positive movement on Cade, which I'm very happy with.
yeah.
Any other awards? Probably one more award and then we tie it off. We've got Rookie of the Year. Is there a race for Rookie of the Year?
I mean, the bookies are taking numbers on it. Is there an actual race? I'm not too sure. So just looking at the odds, Stefan Castle's number one at $1.48. And the next closest is at $6 is Jalen Wells.
Okay.
We
Wells.
We got Ware at $9. We've got Rishashare at 11. To be honest, I probably like him long term the most. And then Alex Sarr. And Sarr's been playing a lot better lately. He's actually beginning to look like an NBA player. I think at the start of the year it was a little bit dicey with that guy. But look, I mean, the guy that I like is Zach Edey. He's at $12. I think from a 1 year sample size, yeah, fair enough. He's down there. But long term, I think Edey's just going to be a beast in this league.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yves Messi's been injured. Dalton connects at $51. I'm kind of glad that's the case, actually. Like, yeah.
Pre-trade, post-trade. The thing is, I don't
There's
know.
nothing much that really takes my fancy, honestly.
Wells, I'm very much I was on board with Wemby. So Wemby's group. So the Spurs were winning. Stefan Castle was looking great.
Yeah.
But now Wemby's out, do the Spurs start to look, ordinary? And I'm like, if it's you've got Wells and Castle.
Yeah.
Do you go for the rookie that's impacting a team that's in the top half of their draw in the conference? It's hard to be.
I think the performance does matter
but he's a solid performing rookie. On where are they sitting? Are they third or are they second in the West?
Team performance matters. I think that 100%. But I would say if you're looking at the least amount of team performance when you're factoring in an award, I think the Rookie of the Year is the one that you disregard that the most.
Yeah,
and
then
so
I give it to Castle.
Yeah. So if that's the case, and I think that's
Castle,
reasonable because most good guards are going to bad teams. Like I think that's the narrative there, right? Like,
of course.
Yeah. I think if you're being realistic though, like Castle wasn't really a top pick.
Yeah.
There was guys that went far ahead of him.
He's a strategic pick, and the Spurs have done it again. Like he's
The Spurs are just a good team. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
What do you want to finish the show on, Ad? We can't finish it on gambling odds. This is not really our jam. It's
Well,
just
how
something
about
that we led into.
we go with a couple of we go with a
We've got a
notable
Tim
sale.
Duncan card here. Why don't
There
we
we
finish with Tim and D?
there we
That would make
perfect.
me really happy. This is a eye-catching sale from Card Ladder. The Fleer Mystique. Film at 11, top story, PSA 7. This sold for $27,000. This warms my heart on so many different levels. It's a very niche card.
Yeah.
It's from a set that's not particularly that well chased in terms of Fleer. It's from a player that is generally regarded not as a hobby darling. I'm all aboard this. I love this a lot.
Hobby darling, love it.
No one cares about Tim Duncan, man. Like, Tim Duncan's got a better
We all love
resume
the big
than,
fun
I would
as
argue,
well.
Shaq and Kobe, and you can buy Duncan rookies for much cheaper than
Yeah,
Kobe.
no, I
Significantly, right? Yeah. People love Kobe.
I
Donald
agree.
Trump loves Kobe. That's our
Oh,
second
is that our
political.
we can close
Let's
that
finish
out
the
with
show on that, man. Yeah, so there's going to be a Kobe Bryant statue in the garden at the White House. There's a bunch of other athletes that's going to be
American
there.
heroes,
Yeah.
sport heroes is going to
Very
be
good.
a thing.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson's going to be there. There's a couple of other guys in there too. So I think huge props to
Yeah.
the sport-loving US government for giving Kobe Bryant.
For giving Kobe Bryant some props with the statue. Another
Just
statue.
being objective, though, do you think that was the right choice?
Kobe.
Yeah. Why not Bill Russell? Why not Jordan? Why not Dr. J? Why not Magic Johnson?
I think the recent passing of Kobe is the reason.
Like a respect type thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a way to honor the Bryant family. It's a
Yeah.
He brought a lot to the game and gone too soon in our eyes. Yeah, that would be my reasoning for it. Yeah, definitely.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. We're going to end today's show here. Don't forget to tune in to our segment called Timeless Moments that will also be in your podcast feed. If you're listening for some radio tunes, we're on Central Coast Radio 3 days a week. Go to centralcoastradio.com. Shout out to Pretz X. You are our winner from our YouTube promotion. Please contact us on any social media platform, YouTube. I don't know if you can message people on YouTube, but Instagram or Facebook, Twitter too, if you prefer.
Reach out to us and we'll organise that box.
Thank you for a great episode, Adam. Thank you for your patience.
Pleasure as always.
Yep.
And yeah, don't forget that those timeless moments, they will be up on YouTube on Wednesdays. So they will be coming out as special video.